Hey, this is Nick from Comics to Your Couch. In celebration of 100 followers, today we're going to be talking about one of my favorite comic book arcs of all time. This is Hulk Crossroads, written by Bill Mantlo, art by Sal Buscema. How can the Hulk be my favorite Marvel comic book character? How can this possibly be the case with a character that is so repetitive and boring and limited? I mean, he's just a big, strong guy. Like, is he even a superhero? Half the time we see him, he's leveling American cities to the ground. Okay, and if he is such a great character, then where do I even start as a reader in order to get the essence of the character? All of these are questions that I hope to answer in this longer form review. First, let me give a disclaimer and some context. So, the Hulk Crossroad comics and Bill Mantlo's work in general, it seems, are notoriously hard to come by. Marvel hadn't made them available online, and these single issues had become collector's items and valued appropriately, and it wasn't until very recently that we finally got the collected edition. So if after this review you want to check this comic out, then your best bet is to get this book, the Marvel Essentials Volume 13, Hulk Crossroads. I'm so happy that this finally exists because this is a definitive chapter in the Hulk story. And my intention with a review like this is to sincerely contribute to the eternal discussion and love of a narrative that I truly value and want to introduce to new audiences. To that aim, if there is something in this review that you want more clarification on or you have a question about, then leave a comment. If there's something you disagree with in this review, then still leave a comment. I want to contribute to the discussion. So without further ado, let's get to Hulk Crossroads with some minor spoilers. I don't want to spoil too much because I want you to check this out for yourself. This all starts with The Incredible Hulk, issue number 300, which released in 1984, written by Bill Mantlo, art by Sal Buscema and Jerry Talek. The only way I can convey the magnitude of this issue is for you to picture a dam bursting. Issue 300 sees the full, brutish monster that the Hulk is always threatened to become unleashed upon the world. But whoa, how did we get here, you might be asking? Well, after decades of asking, can I ever be free of the Hulk? Bruce Banner is finally given the opportunity to act upon this wish after being imprisoned in his own subconscious by the entity known as Nightmare, who, way back in issue 297, intends to use the wanton strength of the Hulk in order to destroy his nemesis, Doctor Strange. While trapped in the Nightmare Zone, Bruce learns the truth of his predicament from the Sorcerer Supreme and realizes that this could be the out he's been sorely looking for. And so he descends into Dreamland, conceding his consciousness fully to the Hulk, an existential suicide 300 issues in the making. So in issue 300, we find the Hulk untethered from any pesky humanity that once tempered him, rampaging through New York City like he never has before. Doctor Strange reeling from seeing his friend and ally of years descend into eternal sleep, and a whole host of Marvel superheroes who are woefully unprepared for what's to come. I couldn't find it online, so I'm just going to show you. This is one of my favorite Marvel pages of all time. The simple cinematic advance of the smoke rising from the collapsed building in the distance that Hulk brought down in one fell swoop as Doctor Strange stands in fear, reflecting on the best course of action as the wind wraps around his cloak. That's what I mean when I talk about the gravity of this inciting incident. It is the culmination of decades of ebb and flow of control for Bruce and Hulk, but it's also a poignant moment for Hulk's peers who were confronted with the terrible reality of the near total destruction that this Hulk is capable of. You see all of New York's finest: Daredevil, Iron Fist, Luke Cage, who's punched through 4 skyscrapers, the Human Torch, alone for some reason, who was snuffed out in a single clap. Before the arrival of our Avengers, Vision, Scarlet Witch, Thor, Captain Marvel, and Star Fox, who all prove useless. There's literally a description where it says if Star Fox wasn't an Eternal, the punch that Hulk hit him with would have killed him. Meanwhile, Doctor Strange communicates astrally with a whole host of demons and aliens in the universe, trying to find a place where the Hulk can do the least damage. So what action does Doctor Strange take? Well, with the whole mystical pantheon at his disposal, Doctor Strange makes a discerning, unique gambit, and sends Hulk to the dimension known as the Crossroads. And it kind of just looks like this. We learn from Doctor Strange in an issue later as he gives a speech to a congressional hearing, which I just love the idea of, by the way, that the Crossroads is an impossibly distant nexus of many realities, many different worlds and roads for the Hulk to explore. What's more, part of the magic imbued to transport the Hulk here also assures for his safety, magically transporting him back to the start of the Crossroads if he finds himself dissatisfied in any world that he enters. It was Doctor Strange's supreme wish that the Hulk discover a place that even a monster such as himself can exist in happily. Thus begins a saga of comics observing a savage, bestial Hulk on the edge of the universe. An eternally angry being trying to make sense of his strange, absurd surroundings. Hulk's only companion at the titular Crossroads is this puffball collective, which is like a hive mind consciousness that tries to reform itself into images from Hulk's psyche, but it only makes him more angry even though he doesn't remember why. What follows from here are a series of the most innovative, unique, science fiction and fantasy blended short stories that have ever existed in Marvel history, in my opinion. Rivaling anything from the Fantastic Four, even. With an incommunicable, monstrous, inhuman Hulk as our protagonist, encountering strange new worlds and peoples that a brute like him is ill-equipped to understand. Some of the highlights include Hulk being enslaved by an alien race that view his strength as infantile, which inadvertently leads Hulk to freeing a princess who awakens her latent magical ability and is able to bring back nature into the world. Hulk forming an unlikely bond with a symbiotic alien with the most beautiful artwork you've ever seen. Then probably my favorite issue, Hulk being kidnapped and press-ganged into an intergalactic pirate vessel with a cyborg captain infused into the mast of the ship as they are collecting the strongest warriors from across the universe to hunt Klaatu, the energy-absorbing titan from the beginning of time. They don't make comics like this anymore. There's so much more to learn about Hulk Crossroads, so please follow along to part 2.